I've never seen Axl Rose mingle and like take that many pictures and socialize with that many people.
Welcome to the podcast, Appetite for Distortion, episode number 519. Welcome to the podcast, Nas from Winterburn. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'm good, thanks.
I want
Just
you, though, to say your name the way it's meant to be said. We had a nice conversation off the air. And my listeners hear me butcher names all the time, and I wanted to make sure I wanted to say Naser, but you say it with, of course, the right inflection. So, how do you say your
so
name?
yeah, it's Nasr. We have the sla in Arabic, which a lot of English non-Arabic speakers wouldn't be able to pronounce. We have a lot of Arabic words. It's similar to like let's say Finnish, Hebrew. They have the kha,
Ha, sure.
we have the ta, ha, like we have a lot of those guttural sounds. But yeah, so Nas, people call me Nas, just because, like mentioned earlier, like I had guys calling me Naser in America, and I was like, nah, man, like
I
just
knew it
stick.
wasn't Naser. I mean, it might sound cool like Naser the laser if you were, I don't
I
know.
hated it. I had that, and in England, I had guys go Nazir, which is a completely different name, and I'm like, no, that's not my name. So
Mm,
most of my friends in England growing up would call me Nas or Nas in America. So I'm like, I'm good with either or
okay.
Nasser. If you're Arab, most Arabs get it, so they're like Nasser, But
Mm.
yeah,
I
whatever.
wish, even going through Hebrew school and learn the whole the brachata, and l'chaim, I still, I can't, I can barely speak English, man. It's been all bastardized. So I won't be. It's always funny to see the certain people who try to do the accent but just end up sounding really corny when they try to say it, and I don't want to be that person. So all mistakes are genuine, but let's just stay with Nas and Winterburn. I can pronounce quite easily. Uh, I'm happy to. I'm sure some fans may have seen you open for Guns N' Roses, like just to kind
Yeah,
of get right into it. That
yeah.
part of it, like, who is this guy? Why are we talking about names? Because you're one of the many where I responded to like with Brandon. And you're like, I
Mhm.
thought his name was Brando.
Yeah, yeah. Like I mentioned, yeah. Like I heard your show. I've listened to your show before, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure his name is. I thought his name was Brando on the show, and I was like, okay, I guess it's Brandon. And then when I responded back, I'm like, is he gonna get offended? Was it autocorrect or something? But I'm like, whatever.
Oh, you did
But
think that? That's funny.
yeah. Well, funnily enough, about Winterburn, uh, that was specifically why I picked that name. Was 6 years ago when so this band was basically my solo band for the longest time ever, and then years ago I we were in talks to tour in England and open for a pretty well established band, and I said, hey man, I don't think it's wise to go out with the name Naser Mestarihi as a touring band. It's going to be weird. Some English guy in a remote or some outer like some northern town is going to be like, Naser Mestarihi, what the fuck is that? Like sorry, I don't know if I can swear,
No, you
but
can swear. I mean,
but
I know you said you've listened, which I appreciate. I always think nobody listens, and then people like you tell me that.
yeah.
But even though it's not a lot, I do curse on this podcast. So,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, no, I know, but like, I don't want to overstep the line, but yeah,
I
so like,
I
so
heard,
we
I
changed.
appreciate it. Oh,
So
go ahead.
yeah, no, so I changed the name because of that, and then I wanted the guys in the band to also collaborate and write with me because it was always my kind of thing. I always modeled it after sort of Lenny Kravitz or Prince, which is play all the instruments except the drums because I kind of suck at drums, um, and produce and do all of that stuff. But then I really wanted just to put a band together. It started, to weighing on me, like the whole process of doing everything on my own. I wanted to collaborate with people, but so yeah, and yes, we did open for Guns N' Roses, which is kind of surreal, man. It's only been so what
What?
we're sorry.
Sorry, what show? It was in Riyadh. Is that where
It
it was?
was, well, we almost opened that one too. We did
Okay.
Bahrain, That's kind of a controversial topic, actually. And I actually had a kind of a premonition about that the other day, and I'm like, should I discuss this when Brando and I talk, or is it going to be too spicy? But
Whatever you're comfortable with, we're all
well, I
welcome
don't
here.
care.
Okay.
I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I speak facts, bro. Like it can't you can't really dispute it. But we did the Bahrain one, which was, to be honest, our target. We wanted to play the Bahrain date, and one, because Bahrain's really close. It's like it's a soft spot in my heart. Even though I live in Saudi, I'm based in Saudi. But two, the band is based between Bahrain and Saudi. So I live on the east coast of Saudi, and my bandmates live about 30 minutes away on the west coast of Bahrain. So we're sort of like, it's just a drive over a bridge. And when they announced Riyadh, we had actually approached the promoter about that show first, and didn't really hear back for a couple of days. So I was like, you know what? Let's go approach, Bahrain, the arena guys in Bahrain, to submit to open for that. And we obviously had our management get in touch with them. Then they got in touch with Guns' management, and then that's how all of that worked out. And I had to keep this on the down low for from January all the way to March. I found out that we were opening the show in March, and then April, I got a second confirmation about you're on stage, on the main stage with Guns N' Roses, because no band had from this region had ever supported a major act on that stage, the arena's main stage, which is Al Dana Amphitheater. And so we were going to be the first, which basically we set a precedent for all these bands in the Arab or Middle Eastern region.
The
And
first Arab band to ever open for Guns N' Roses, ever.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there were a couple of bands. The previous lineup, which was the previous two lineups ago, when it was Ron Thal and DJ Ashba and all of
Hmm.
those guys, they came down to Dubai. I think it was in 2010 or something, and I went to that show in Abu Dhabi in the Yas Arena, and there was a band that opened for them, and I believe they were from Dubai. I can't remember who it was, but we're the first full Arab band, so that's kind of like a significant thing. Everyone's, it's, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And we're the first Arab band to play on the stage of that arena, which was pretty cool. Like and they didn't know, like so to them, their perception was, oh, it's a local band, but we're a regional band. We played shows all over the Middle East. I've played around the world, not just the Middle East. I've been doing this for a long time. And so they didn't know what to expect. And I think there was a lot of trepidation because of that. And I mean, I had some trepidation too myself, bro, because I'm like, it's fucking Guns N' Roses. you know, it's kind of
Yeah.
a trip because, I mean, this is the first band I ever got into, other than maybe the Beatles. It was
Mm.
the first real rock and roll, hard rock, dangerous sort of band I ever got into was Guns N' Roses. And I'd say my favorite bands are like Guns N' Roses, Van Halen, and Sabbath. But Guns N' Roses were the first band that lit that spark, and I still love them to this day. Appetite's my favorite all-time record. Favorite debut album by any band. So it was a trip. Like it was where we were aiming for the stars in a way, because the biggest rock, really, realistically, on the touring circuit today, I think they're one, if not the Stones, they're probably one of the biggest rock and roll bands, probably top three. So you're aiming for something massive, man. But and my bandmates, I think, thought, oh, whatever, dude. Because I sent him a text. I'm like, guys, I'm pushing to get us to open for Guns N' Roses. And I think they thought like, this guy's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
But I was legit. Like, I had a whole presentation prepared, like an EPK, send it over to our management. I had stage plots drawn. Like, this is what it's going to look like. This is what our production's like. These are, I had a light production thing going on. Like, it was a full on show. I mean,
You
even
didn't
some of the
mess
dressing.
around.
Oh, no,
PowerPoint
dude, it
presentation
was.
and everything.
Oh, it wasn't even a PowerPoint. It was even more advanced than PowerPoint. PowerPoint's kind of garbage. I mean, I had to go like full on. It was a full on interactive EPK with videos and all
Okay.
kinds of press clippings and reviews, and what are we doing and what have we done, and obviously, being a Gibson artist played a role in it because that gives you a little more legitimate. There's no other Gibson artist in the Middle East or in West Asia, so that also gives you a little more credibility
That's
when you approach. Yeah,
so yeah, you're the only Gibson artist in the region.
yeah, in the
Wow,
Arab region, I'm the
wow.
only Arab Gibson artist ever, which is unless there's anyone as far as I know. I mean, Arab, yes, Middle Eastern, as far as I know, yeah. I mean, Middle Eastern, we're talking the Arabian Peninsula and let's say the greater Middle East. As far as I know, I confirmed it with them. They're like, "Yeah, you were the first guy we ever signed on," and I was like, "Whoa, that's pretty
How does
rad."
that? Well, rad is one way to put it. Are you able to elaborate on the rad? Like, how does that make you feel in this world of controversy and all these things around to be a first of this and why it's taken so long? I was talking to you just before we started recording, and I said to you, you sound and talk and behave like somebody would be my neighbor here in Queens, and the music. I mean, my God, if you guys haven't heard Winterburn yet, just pause the podcast. And you mentioned like Van Halen. It's like, it's the very early Van Halen voice. You have that. I was gonna use in a lovingly term the hair metal era. You have that. It's not a hair metal band. It's a rock and roll band, but you have that voice. And I was like, very few. And I'm like, this isn't. I'm just like I'm telling you the truth. This is an organic response. I obviously I do a ton of interviews, and there are bands I don't interview any band I don't dislike, but there could be bands on here that I'm like, okay, and I'll listen to their song. Okay, I heard your voice for like a second. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't even need it. I heard the rest of the song after that, but I paused it and I was like, all right, this guy's good. Like, it was just like a
I
note of
appreciate
your
it.
voice. So yeah, guys, just listen if you haven't yet. Check out Winterburn, and then come back to the podcast, and now we continue the conversation. Like,
No, I appreciate that, man.
how
That
does it
means a
make you
lot to me.
feel? Well, because I mean, it's crazy. There's so much. All of my my tangent trying to find the right words. There's so many
Yeah.
variables to think about when you're the first of Arab of opening for GNR of Gibson artist of just. I'll shut up now. How does that make you feel?
There you go, man. It's I don't think I even get time to sort of sit and think about it. Like and sort of absorb or grasp what's going on. Like the Guns N' Roses opening for Guns N' Roses thing still hasn't hit me because I'm sort of in that go, 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 go like mindset all the time. Like there's so much shit just going on all the time. The thing with the Guns N' Roses show was it was a very strange, like there were so many emotions tied to it. And a lot overwhelmingly positive, right? Like because when I first found out, I was about to cry, dude. I was gonna
I
tear up. I'm like, I've
understandably
had this record, not this specific vinyl. I've had this since I was like 7 or 8 years old.
appetite
This
for it.
one I've had for over 2 decades. It's from Amoeba in Hollywood, and I'm showing you this because I want to sort of put you in my mindset. Um, when Guns N' Roses first reunited in 2016, it didn't take me a couple of hours to go online, check the dates as soon as the tickets were on sale. And I was like, first Cali date, I'm there. And it was San Diego Qualcomm Stadium. And I bought this. And it cost me a shitload of money. I got the
VIP.
Paradise City thing. And I've seen the band. I've seen Velvet Revolver, which is my all-time favorite show, by the way, was Velvet Revolver. Um,
They put on a great. I was lucky to see them twice in
I saw
Jersey
them.
and West Palm Beach, and they still one of the best shows I've ever seen.
I say it and people don't believe me. I'm like, guys, I've been to like all the major bands from Maiden, Metallica, blah 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 blah, with the crazy, all the crazy straight stage production, the pyros, the whatever it is. Maybe Kiss is the only major band that I love that I've never gotten to see with a wild stage production. But Velvet Revolver was just straight up music, some decent light work, but like it was just kick ass music. And it was right after Scott Weiland relapsed. And he had that rehab coach on tour with him. I think they
Mm,
broke up like a month later, or a couple of weeks, or a couple of shows later. And that's the weirdest part that he was incredible, man. Like it hit me. I got chills watching Scott Weiland because he
me
had like
too.
I think it was it's either She Builds Quick Machines or For a Brother. You know, there's like that long break.
Okay.
Where do I know? He does all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, dude, it was like it was so ethereal, spiritual. It was crazy, man. Like I never it hit me. And Muse played right after them. And you know, Muse have like the crazy stage production, and it didn't hit the same. It's the weirdest thing. I think it's just that raw energy that Velvet Revolver had. It was the greatest show I've ever seen live. And till to this date, I think I've only seen one or two other shows at like smaller club shows in Hollywood that I was like, whoa, like this is incredible. But that was the show that really meant a lot to me. But anyway, so I went on a crazy tangent. But for
No,
me,
Scott was special. I mean,
oh, dude,
everything you
and
said,
bro,
I feel the same way the times I saw them. I mean, I'm thankful that I did because I never saw STP, and just to see him in his elements. I didn't see them on the Libertad tour. This was the Contraband tour. I think
mm,
I did see one in the early Libertad. And either way, but yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Still tied for like best shows with Axel DC, which was oh
mm,
my God, and
oh yeah,
in
I didn't see that.
2002 Buckethead GNR, because you
Yeah.
thought, which did happen, would you ever see Axl Rose again? And the riot, Billy Riot, happened the next day, so you wouldn't see him for a while. And then the 2016 seeing Axl and Slash on stage for the first time ever, like I almost teared up. I mean, it's
Mm.
so yeah, man. I'm just a fan too, who's talking about GNR, who's lucky to talk to rock stars and stuff like that. So it's nice to hear when you're just a fan and you get this opportunity and you had an opportunity and you took it so seriously. You made it happen. You like there
Yeah.
was no doubt that it was going to happen. I know I understand your bandmates. Like, how was that? How would that happen? Open for Guns N' Roses, you're crazy. Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm
Well,
sure you probably
we,
felt you were crazy too, but you made it happen.
no, I'll tell you
No?
what, man. People think I'm crazy, but like I've like my approach in music ever
Oh,
since I
sorry, I see a
started.
cat in the background. I'm distracted. Which one is that?
Oh, that's my dog Cheech.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like a really fluffy tail for a cat, dude. Okay.
No, that's my dog Cheech. He's
Uh,
way too short. I've got to like kind of lift him, but
oh,
that's
okay. Oh,
just
he's a cutie. Oh, he's bit
he
you.
got angry.
He's
He
okay.
doesn't like being carried.
Leave him alone.
I'm sorry. I'm
Sorry.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I
But
have OCD. Oh, blue car. So continue.
no, I love I've got like a dog and four cats, and I'm an
Beautiful.
animals guy. So and, I don't know what's going on with him though. I think I stole his spot, and he's just not happy about it. Here you go. Here's your spot. Because I got
Oh,
all the Guns N' Roses memorabilia here for you,
oh, on
and
his spot.
and it's on his spot, and I don't think he's happy about that. And actually, I wanted to show you this. So when I put this out, I was like, so this is when I saw Guns N' Roses, and then
This is the
to go
VIP
from
thing. Okay.
that to that,
To the all access support in I will say it, you said it obviously Bahrain. I say it. I was like, I was gonna say Bahrain, which I guess sound like Bahrain. I just I just sound like a
you're good
Midwestern
though.
housewife, like in like Applebee's or something. I met this
You're
fellow
good
from
though.
Bahrain.
No, but you're good. You could say that. I'm sure that's better than Bahrain. You know, like I've heard Bahrain before, and
Yeah,
but yeah,
I'd
no,
rather say it in my shitty, genuine way than try to. You understand? It's all love.
no, man.
I could
But yeah,
barely
so
speak English.
you're forgiven, man. Arabic's not an
Thank
easy
you.
language, but yeah, man, it's just it's beyond surreal. Like the whole experience was crazy. Like,
So tell me
but
with the
I
experience, like, what is it like opening for them? It's hard to put into words I was almost said like the Arab thing, which is what a way to phrase it. But you know what I mean. Uh, but to open for GNR, what was that? Take us through what that day is like. Do you get to meet any of them or any of their crew or see, and I know you took some on your Instagram, you on the stage with the setup. So like kind of just take us what it's like to be a band opening up for Guns N' Roses.
so so like two close friends of mine have opened for Guns N' Roses on post reunion. And one of my friends, I think he's opened for them twice. And he's opened for them. Yeah, he opened for them once in the Emirates and once in India. His band's Indian. They're it's Garrison the Chronicles, killer band. They're on America's Got Talent. And as far as I know, I was like, "Hey man, like, did you get to meet the band?" He's like, "Yeah, man, nothing. They won't even meet us. They won't even look at us." He's like, "But they waved at them from side stage, but that was it." And he sent me the video because he opened for them 2 days before we did on on the Asian leg of the tour, and so he sent me a video saying, "Dude, Guns are sound checking, and they've got your backdrop on." Like it keeps coming on during their sound check. And one of the crew members sent us the same thing. One of the guys working as part of the organizers crew. He's like, yeah, man, they keep putting Winterburn's backdrop on, which we found super weird. But like, and I was like, that is pretty weird. But maybe they were testing out the resolution or whatever. Anyway, so he's like, yeah, we didn't get to meet the band, and I don't think they meet with support bands and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. Look, I told the guys right before the show, I'm like, look, don't get your hopes up about meeting the band. Okay. I've met this band. I met them when they were Velvet Revolver backstage. Now, I met them because I had a backstage pass. Didn't go too well. It was a very traumatizing experience, um, which I'll get to.
Okay.
Um, and I was like, and I was like, Slash flew in with his band years ago, and I was meant to meet them as well. I call it the curse that I have with Slash, and it always breaks my heart, okay? Because every time I'm meant to meet Slash, some shit goes down. So
Hmm.
there was the Velvet Revolver one. I did get to meet him, shook his hand, and it was traumatizing was they were all super like they were not in the mood to meet anyone backstage. They were in a shit mood, man. And I know
Hmm.
now, looking in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, it was probably Scott Weiland's whole thing because certain things happened. So someone gave him a promo shot to sign of the band,
Hmm.
and Dave Kushner and I think it was Matt started drawing like funny shit all over Scott Weiland's face.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I don't
he
know if I
caught
should
them on
say
one of
this.
those days.
I don't know if I should say this. They're gonna hate me for saying this, but I saw that and I was like, "Oh shit, things must be bad in their camp." And Duff, like, I reached out, to shake his hand, and he kind of looked at me weird, like, "Why is this dude shake?" And then he did shake my hand, but it was just kind of weird, man. The vibes were just off. And then when it came time, I said hi to Slash. He was super nice. Sat next to him. I asked the guy to take a picture. He's like, "Oh, dude, my camera won't work. My camera won't work." And that guy is a notorious prick because 2 days later he uploads a picture that I took of him with Slash, same meeting
Some guy
backstage.
just whatever. All right,
And
sorry.
so
That
I
annoys
I
me when
I
people
kind
are
of went
like
like,
that.
no, I was like, that fucker, he sabotaged my moment. And anyways, that was years ago. So now we're opening for them. I'm like, you know what? I told my bandmates, I'm like, guys, who cares, man? Like it's cool if we get to meet them. They're our heroes and everything. But if we don't get to meet them, we're fucking opening for them, man. That's sick as it is. That's crazy. Like no one believes it. Like we had so many friends of ours text us like, "Yo, what the fuck? Are you gotta be kidding?" Like I have friends in LA. All my LA friends were posting about it because they're like, "Holy shit, we remembered this dude flying out all the way here just to go out to see them." And Naser's like a major Slash is a huge influence on me. He's one of my like all-time favorite guitarists. And obviously I love the band. So it's kind of crazy to them. And I'm an unapologetic Guns N' Roses fan. There's like a lot of fans of these bands who are like, I'm too snobby, like these musical snobs who look down at these bands, and I'm like, I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. I love Guns N' Roses, man. They're one of my favorite bands, if not my favorite band. And I don't care what anyone thinks. But
Hmm.
so it was a trip, and so anyways, we get to the show and to the venue. We go into our green room. We start setting up, and then they're like, "Okay, guys, you got sound check at 4:30, and you hit the stage. You get 45 minutes, which is pretty rad. Like 45 minutes set." I was like,
Yeah.
damn, man, the Guns guys are super generous. I'm like, 45 minutes is not bad. We can we can pack in a lot of, killer songs. We even had a new single, which we debuted at that show.
Oh, cool.
Um, and that show sort of fell in with a little tour that we did of Bahrain. So we did a mini tour, and that was show number 4. And so the closing one, which was like, the big show. And
Hmm.
And so we go backstage, we do our thing. Sound check was a complete fucking shit show. It was a
Why is that?
disaster.
Why is that?
But it wasn't like Guns guys were responsible for that. So I'm not putting this on them or their crew. I think there was something went wrong prior to us getting there because it was just like pandemonium. My amp was the wrong amp. That it wasn't the amp that I requested. So I had a
Mm.
specific. We have our own backline requests, and I'm like, I need this amp. I need this. Blah 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 blah. And I look at that as part of my technical writer, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that's not even the app that I use. I don't even know how to like configure this thing. And then no one knows how to start the app. Then we're stuck on a
Mm.
wrong channel. And I'm like, guys, we're gonna be playing in less than an hour. And it's all the sound check's already screwed. Like it's already been delayed. Forgive me, sorry. Guns' sound check I think was at 4:30. Ours was an hour later. And anyways, so it was just like pandemonium. Everything happened super quick. Then they opened the gates and let some of the people in. So the what you call the snake pit ticket holders, I guess they call snake pit or golden circle guys.
Right, right, right.
They start walking in, and I recognize one of them as being a frequent photographer, frequent traveler who tours with Guns N' Roses. I'm like, shit. They're watching us do our set. They're watching us sound check. But I'm like, fucking guys, just play. Like we got to get this down. So I look at the guys and I'm like, look, guys, I don't know what's going to happen when we get on stage, but just stick to the click, stick to the time. And, we have our tips on how do we get back into a song and, like if anyone slips or whatever.
Mm.
So we were cool. I went, did a quick workout, then changed. Next thing I know, I'm like talking to the guys and I look and I see Duff McKagan and Dell James. And my brain is sort of like, yo, what the fuck? It was the
Like
most
these are real
random thing
people?
ever.
Because
I'm
I
like,
got to imagine at that point, like these are real people.
yeah, I
Oh,
mean, and I'm like, and you're kind of, but I was starstruck for about like a good couple of seconds, maybe 10 seconds. But then I was like, yo, just be normal. Don't be one of those. Don't be one of the. I mean, I'm not young anymore, dude. I've been in this for a while. Like, I've got tons of friends in the music industry, like all over the world, and it's how it is, right? Like, just don't be a weirdo. Like, just be normal. And we start talking. We like kind of bro hugged, and then we start talking and shooting the shit. And it's kind of funny. I was saying this to a friend of mine the other day. I said, every time I meet someone super famous, you would expect that because I'm his fan and I own shitloads of their records and I grew up reading the trivia back in the day when we had like, shit internet. Like everything was super slow and it was forums and stuff. I'm
yeah.
like, you would think that I would ask him all these detailed questions, right? About the band, but that doesn't happen. Like usually when you meet people like that, when you're genuine with them and they can sort of see through the bullshit and the facade and whatever, when you're just yourself, man, like you start talking about the most random things. Like, so Duff and I are both into ancient civilizations history and like traveling and exploring historical stuff. So that's what we were
Okay.
talking about. I was like, oh
Nice.
dude, you're here, you're like in the perfect place. But dude, there's a Dill Moon civilization. We've got like thousands of years of history here and archaeology and blah 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 blah. And we started hitting, like we hit it off, man, and we were just talking about random stuff. And then I told him, hey, by the way, I just wanted to tell you, I actually met you years ago. He's like, oh, where? Because I remember we've played in the Middle East before. I was like, yeah, it was Velvet Revolver's show in Dubai, and he was like, "Oh, okay." And kind of like he kind of went like, "Oh yeah," because I think it rung a bell with him that that's when things were falling apart with
Yep.
Scott,
Right. Right.
because they broke up literally like a few shows after. And then I said, "Yeah," and I kind of rubbed you guys off the wrong way. I mean, that's not the best way to phrase that, but anyways, but he was like, "Why?" I was like, "Well, I walked in backstage wearing a kilt." And he laughed.
Uh,
I was like, because like the actual reference, and like back then
I
things were
didn't know.
kind of.
I didn't know you did. Did you say that before? Is that a night?
No, I didn't mention that.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I
That's a
was wearing a
detail.
kilt. Don't ask
Oh,
why.
that's not gonna help
I
your situation.
I played a punk rock show the night before and I was wearing a kilt. And then I went in the next day, like I fell asleep, woke up hungover, went straight to the gun show in that kilt. and not guns, Velvet Revolver. So he kind of laughed it off, and I was like, I was kind of traumatized by that whole experience. But I think he got it
Mm,
because he sort of went like, yeah, that was not a very positive vibe backstage. It wasn't. It was a shit vibe, and I can understand. But anyway, so he
agreed.
kind of gave us some cool words and blah blah blah, and then I was like, "Hey, Duff, I know this is kind of weird to ask, but can I take a picture and whatever?" And then he's like, "Yeah, yeah, cool." So I called the band in. Our manager came in. We all took a picture together, and then we did another bro hug. He was like, "Good luck, guys." We hit the stage, and here's the funniest thing. Right before the show, I kept telling my bandmates, "Hey guys, make sure you get me like aspirin because I tend to get headaches from the heat. Like it's so hot out here in the Middle East. It's between 45 to 50 degrees Celsius sometimes and super humid. That's something like 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Because I
Wow.
know you're right. Yeah, it gets hot, dude.
Sorry.
It's
We
like
don't use that.
Arizona.
We use Fahrenheit here in America. So-
Look, your metric system. But anyways, yeah, by the
Oh,
way, the irony of this whole thing is I think like even England uses miles, like they use stone, they use
oh,
weird ass like units of measurement, which I'm like, that's not even what we you guys impose the kilograms on us and use stones over it. Just makes no sense.
it's
But
all
anyways,
arbitrary anyway, when
yeah,
you boil it down. But
yeah.
that's
But
funny.
it gets hot. So I said to the guys, get me some aspirin. And then because I know I'm gonna get hit, and I didn't get the aspirin. And what happened was right after Duff walked away, I had my manager come over and he said, "You guys are on in like 5 minutes, so just get your shit together, get ready." All right, okay, we're getting our stuff together. My guitars are tuned, they're set up, all of that, and I get like this raging headache, and I'm like, "Fuck, I have no aspirin." And then something else happens. Now I have MS, and something that us with MS, multiple sclerosis, patients experience is if it gets too hot, you get something called, or your body temperature gets really high. It's called pseudo symptoms. So you feel like certain symptoms of MS start to kick in. Like my leg goes numb,
Hmm.
my hands tend to go numb. So this part of my hand, which is where I pick from and hybrid pick because I use my middle finger as well and tap and whatever, just went super numb. And I'm like, fuck, how is this happening? And I'm already stressed because I have to sing as well, right? And I'm like, I don't want to choke in front of Guns N' Roses because Axl Rose, right? He's one of my favorite vocalists growing up as a kid. So, and he's Axl fucking Rose. And I sing, I do the same thing. I have loud screams, I have some high screams in some songs. So I don't want to blow my voice. And I'm like, holy shit, this is just all the odds are against me. But I just went on there and I'm like, you know what, dude? Fuck it. You're born to be here, man. Just crush this shit. And we crushed the shit hard, man. Like I noticed quick, like, okay, I can't hear my guitar when I'm standing in front of my monitors because someone fucked up something with someone from the crew knocked one of my monitors in a weird way. So I couldn't hear what I was playing or singing. But I was like, but if I stand in the middle of the stage over there, I can hear everything crystal clear. So what I was doing was I play the verses and whatever, and then I would dance or groove my way to the middle. And people thought it was like part of the show, but it wasn't. I was just like I was just trying to hear myself. So my friends now who we were talking, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. He's like, "Oh, I saw you doing like all these cool moves and stuff, and you would groove to the middle of the stage, and, whenever you had leads coming up." I was like, "Dude, I couldn't hear shit," and that's why I would go there because I'm like, the solo's about to come up, and this is a dangerous spot in the song. I can't fuck this up because we're a three piece and you can hear every single note, every riff, every lick, even like scratch notes. But we played, and obviously, in the back of my head, a couple of times I thought, you know, GNR guys might be backstage listening to this. It's loud, dude. It's an arena. So this is, you can hear this in the parking lot. I'm like, so do your best, man. But I didn't think about that much. It was more about like we got to nail this song. We're gonna do this. I hope the lights are good. I can't tell what's going on stage. I'm just looking at people's faces, look at their eyes, and then it was done. We get off stage, and as I'm walking off, one of Guns N' Roses crew comes up to me. He's like, "Kick ass show, guys." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." I'm like, "Hey, thanks." I didn't say yeah, whatever to him because I'm not gonna be rude.
I
But
know, I know.
I was like, but in
Internal
my head,
monologue.
but as he was walking away, I was like. Yeah, sure, we fucked that up. And I was like disappointed. I'm like, I know we fucked that up. My manager comes up to me and he's like, you guys fucking killed it. He's like, and Duff came out and watched you for like 10 minutes. He's like, I couldn't believe it. He's like, because I was kind of, he was, my manager standing backstage to the left side of the stage. He's like, and I see Duff there, and I'm like, yo, like that's kind of a trip. Like, he's like, he doesn't even know how to react. He's like, and he was digging it. I'm like, so in my head, I'm like, whatever, okay. But then the arena people start coming up to us, and they're like, you guys fucking killed it. And the people are like, you guys crushed. Some guys coming up to me like, hey, can I take a picture? And I'm like, yo, this is a trip, man. Like, were we really that good? Anyways, so then that was it. And then guns come on, and everyone wants to go get drunk or whatever. And I'm like, no, guys, I really want to watch them play. I seen them in 2016. Haven't seen them in like 9 years. I really would like to see. They're my favorite band, and I want to see Isaac Carpenter. Like, because I'm a Steven Adler fan. I know that's a controversial thing. I love Matt Sorum, but he had that, the swing. Like
Right.
there was some kind of weird power and groove that Steven had. I love Matt Sorum too, but it was like something raw and swingy about Steven. And so they got Isaac Carpenter in the band, and I'm like, I really need to see how this guy plays. And he was fucking insane. The band sounds way different, bro. Like I've seen Guns for almost 3 hours in San Diego when they first reunited, and it doesn't sound like the old Guns. The only thing that's noticeable that's different is obviously Axel's voice. He's aged. He's been through a lot. I think the ACDC tour really affected his voice because he was insane on that tour, man.
He was.
And he was screaming and hitting notes like he was singing raw and raspy as hell. And I think that took a little bit of a toll on his voice. But still a killer showman. He looks good. Um, I understand like people have their opinions about his singing, but he sings everything he sings the notes correct. He's in key, which is
Mhm.
it is what it is, man. He's in his mid I guess he's in his mid 60s now, right?
Mid,
So
63.
63.
63.
There you
Yeah.
go. So like I'm I'm very easygoing about these things because I can and I'm a singer. I know what it's like.
Mm.
But it was a show, bro. Like it was a killer show. I loved it. I was like dancing, rocking out to Night Train. There were a bunch of like there was this whole it was like a tailgate party of these American guys throwing beer all over behind me. They were going wild. They were doing beer pong in the audience. And it was a trip though. But yeah, so then anyways, Guns show's over. We had a ball, and then my manager called me. He's like, come down. We might get to meet Slasher Axel as they're coming out. Now I was told at one point when we were done, um, not Nasser, you got to get away from the backstage area because Axel's coming. He doesn't want anyone here. I was like, what? He's like,
Okay.
no one. Yeah, like they were like, get the fuck out of here. Get to your car. Even the crew, they told members of the crew, fuck off. Okay. I'm like, okay, okay, okay. Because what happened is my bandmate dropped his laminate, and I was like, "Can we look for it?" It fell off backstage, and they were like, "No." Axel says, "Leave." Okay,
Okay.
so all of you fuck off right now. I'm like, okay, okay. We went to our cars, and then we had a secret way to get in to watch the gig. They gave us tickets and our passes or whatever. And but anyways, later in the night, I get a call saying, "Hey, come backstage. We might be able to meet the band." Well, we didn't meet the band because they took the other access way, which goes under the arena into the suites. And so I was like, "Oh, whatever, man." As we're heading back to our parking lot's right over here. Theirs is right over here. And I'm like, "Yo, that looks like the Guns cars, because each one of those guys have their own cars, their own details, their own guys." I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna go up there and just mention, that I want to say hi to Slash because I'm gonna shoot my shot, man. This is my hero, bro. Like I'm not fucking letting it go. Like I've had the curse happen to me twice before, which is the Velvet Revolver one, and then his solo show. I'm like, I'm gonna make it happen today.
At this
And I went
point, yeah, and you made the actual show happen. Why not?
and we played and we opened for them and we killed it and
Overcame,
a
odds
lot.
and headaches and numbness. So why not?
And there's a backstory to us playing for Guns, which a lot of people don't know about me. I had a death in my family literally days before, and I could not grieve, which was the hardest thing. And I think my family, like my mom and my brother and a number of my family members could see that they know that it wasn't easy on me because I had spent time with my aunt had passed away from cancer. So I was
I'm very sorry.
no, it's cool, thank you. And I'd spent a lot of time with my aunt. Cancer is a big thing, like because she's not the first person I lose to cancer, and so I didn't even have a chance to grieve. So there was a lot. And then there was another backstory to that where I was stuck in a country and I couldn't enter Saudi because of some screw up with my paperwork. And I had to fly to Bahrain and then like just the rehearsals. And cut a long story short, there were a lot of fucking odds. And I was like, is this show going to happen? Because we had been confirmed. We're about to announce. And I'm like, is this going to really happen? Because now I have to figure out a way to make this happen. But, anyways, it happened. So, anyways, I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to speak to a security detail. I'm going to tell them, listen, I want to meet Slash. And I know someone who is a personal friend of Slash who probably did text him. He mentioned to me, he's like, I'm going to text him and tell him that you're opening the show because he's tight, really tight with Slash. And I don't want to name drop, but it's something associated with my music endorsements and all that.
Sure.
So I was like, cool. I didn't. I should have mentioned this when I spoke to his head of security, but I didn't because it was such an awkward situation. The guy was not nice, dude. He's like, no, you're not gonna meet him. He's like, nope, it's not gonna happen. I'm like, listen, dude. Uh, you can understand, not just as a fan, as a musician, as some his peer in the music industry. I guess now, as someone who's been doing this for so long, like this is a big deal for me. Why don't you just ask him? You know, he's like, they don't meet opening bands. He's like, and you're lucky that I was nice enough to give you guys tickets to the show. And I
These
was like,
gatekeepers, man, like people with a little bit of power, just like these people with small dicks, like, just whatever.
and that was a weird fucking statement because when he said that, I was thinking, but we've got support band laminates. We have access all areas, whatever. We didn't need the tickets, bro. Like security didn't even ask us for tickets. Yeah, it was nice that you gave us a little, it was cool, but I mean, don't rub that in my face. Like that's not nice. Like as an Arab, by the way, and I don't know, but in our culture, you don't say shit like that. Like
No,
it's
it's
like,
disrespectful
oh,
as a human being, regardless of culture. No, fuck that
but
guy
yeah,
in all
yeah, in our
languages.
culture, as a human, totally. But in our culture, that's like, oh, you did me a favor. Oh, okay.
Oh,
So
no,
so that
please.
happened, and then I looked to my bandmates. I'm like, you know what, guys, fuck it. Let's not look like we're begging here. If this guy's being a dick and he was not nice, it's like let's just walk away. So we're walking away, and I see Duff coming out with his guys, and I just shout out like, have a safe trip, Duff. And he's like, oh, dude, hold up. And he calls me over. And that douchebag that turned me away was kind of standing at the door. And Duff was coming out to his car. And he was like, I swear to God, verbatim, this is what he's like, dude, your guitar playing is so fucking sleazy. He's like, I love that. He loved the show. He's like, I love the band. Your rhythm section were killer. And he was like, and then he kept looking at me. He's like, your guitar playing is so sleazy, man. And I was like, fuck yeah, bro. That's like the ultimate compliment, dude. Duff
Yeah,
McKagan's telling me that my guitar playing is sleazy. That's crazy, man.
it's
And
so
then
sleazy. That's the name of your book. It's so sleazy.
that's a good one. And then he was like, then he said something which was really cool. He was like, he said, I was really rooting for you guys because after we chatted backstage, he's like, I just really wanted you guys to be good. And he's like, and that was killer. He said that. And my manager's standing there and my bandmates are standing there. And I think to them, this is so fucking surreal. Like, yo, man, Duff McKagan just gave you a seal of approval. That's all you need to know. And someone mentioned that, yeah, Slash was backstage when you guys were playing, but in his zone. So so I was like, whatever, like I got my like, dude, a lot of trauma was healed that day. And then it was like the icing on the cake was that when Duff said that, give him another hug, bro hug, have a safe trip, man. You're gonna love Saudi. I know you're not there for long, whatever. And then we left. And
The icing on the cake though wasn't to do it in front of that douchebag. Like when you're talking to Duff, you didn't like go to that
oh
guy and give him
fuck
the
him.
finger,
Yeah,
give
no.
him the
At that
DX
point, I'm like,
chop.
you
I don't
know
know if
what?
you're a wrestling guy, but just like fuck it. You didn't do any of that.
I used to be when I was a kid. I was a DX guy.
Oh,
But no,
nice.
yeah, nah, because at that moment he was insignificant, man. At that moment it was you have this
Fair.
beautiful link with your hero. It's like, who gives a fuck about that douchebag?
In
You know?
my
Like
culture, the Queens, New York culture, we want vengeance. We want you to suffer.
oh that's me too. Like I do believe in that. And
No, you did it
like
the right way. Obviously, I mean that's a beautiful moment, and there's so many things to unpack because Duff probably felt bad, and when you brought him back to that time, like, yeah, what a bad time, and I can understand why his experience was bad, and it's no fault to any of them. Everybody has a bad day,
yeah.
and we can only even try to imagine what they were going through at that time. The millions of dollars on the table, and like they're trying to another lead singer they're having an issue with this time with drugs. So I mean, it's it's very cool that Duff was out there. Like I hoping you were good. He didn't want to be like see you again, be like, yeah, dude, it was great. But so the fact that that happened was special, and I can totally see you. I mean, this isn't won't be the last time. As you said, you've had friends that open for them multiple times. You will get your moment with Slash. I could see that.
I hope so.
I could see that happening, and I'd be like you too, where you're like when you meet somebody and you're a fan and you go back to the dial-up internet days or whatever, and you can ask him all these questions. I often think like if I ever had an opportunity to interview Slash or any of them, I'd be like the Chris Farley show. Hey, do you remember when, like, and I love you, and I feel something stupid. Since I don't have hair, I just pull on my beard and let's get that askew. Uh, I was lucky. I do remember the one time I did meet Duff. This was at a Velvet Revolver show backstage, and everybody was lining up to get autographs because he was in the middle of a place in Jersey where there was like really. It's funny in Jersey where there's nothing around, but this place in Jersey seemed like Saudi Arabia because it was just surrounded by like nothing. So they were able to go behind the in Starland Ballroom for those who know. They were
Oh, I
just
know it.
oh yeah, so just walking behind and they were openly signing autographs, no problem, anything. I had my Guns N' Roses shirt, which actually I still have here, which is I know shame on me because it's I used to have it framed, but now it's not. I wore
Uh,
this,
I have the
and
exact same shirt.
if you could see it, there's right there is a Slash
Oh yeah.
autograph,
Oh
and
yeah.
then there's a Duff, and they're both faded. I haven't
Uh,
worn it since. I actually bought this off eBay like back then, so it might be like a actual shirt, like an actual real shirt, not like a Hot
from
Topic
back.
one. Yeah, because
Uh,
I do have Hot Topic ask shirts, and that's not one of them. Anyway, so I had my shirt signed. Hey, I need to admit that I tried to correct Duff of which skull to sign. I was like, no, it's
oh.
this one. I'm pointing to Steven Adler. He's like, no, dude, it's this one. I'm a fucking idiot. But not much is this idiot. The next person's like, he didn't have anything, so he puts out his hand. I may have told the story back in the day. I haven't told it in a while. So he's like, "What would I do with that?" So I was waiting in line. And I said, "You don't want to know," and everyone started laughing. Duff started laughing. That's like my moment. I'm good with those like quick little jokes, but when I
Yeah.
actually like talk to Duff, I'm like, "Oh, it's this skull." Like he doesn't know. I say something stupid. Um, and
Uh,
I wish I can credit which will tie everything together. And I told you this conversation will go a little bit longer. It wasn't just guns for a reason. It's not because of my disability. So I have something that's comparable to MS. It's called demyelinating peripheral neuropathy. It's basically
mm,
the nerve version of what you have. So over time, it's because it's the communication between the brain and the muscles just don't work. There's something missing in the
mm.
nerves, so that affects weakness and affects the muscles. So that's why I get tattoos to cover up my lack of muscles and everything. I wear
Oh wow.
also more show and tell. I wear leg braces when I go out. See
No
my
way.
my Guns and Roses. Like see all my stickers. I I made it like a dorm room.
It's most eclectic like rock music taste ever from Limp Bizkit to like Blur. to
Well,
was
another.
cool. I'm not
Well,
judging.
no, you can judge because the reason why I have
Fuck
these
yeah.
stickers on
I love
there,
that.
because I've gone through a few pairs of leg braces. Because believe it or not, they actually do break, and there's wear and tear. I initially one time this is when I first was doing radio up in Cape Cod, and I had to get a bunch of different jobs to supplement myself. So I worked at a motorcycle apparel place. I don't ride, I
Mm.
can't ride, but whatever. I'm a biker at heart, I guess. So they had a bunch of stickers, bike stickers. So I would put those motorcycle bike stickers on my leg braces that would say like 0 to 60, like really, speed or or brake for very ironic things.
Ironic.
So those broke, and I wanted to get stickers, not just a couple of like Guns N' Roses stickers. So I literally just Googled, on Amazon, rock and roll stickers. So that's why there's Limp Bizkit on there, there's Blur. I was like,
But they're cool.
yeah, thank you. I just needed to find something that had Guns N' Roses and Velvet Revolver and Motorhead and something. So those are
Listen,
all of my leg braces. So yeah, when I'm
I'm
going
sorry to
to,
sorry to cut you off. I was gonna say I'm sorry to hear that you've got that condition, and like really respect that you're able to do all of this despite
vice versa. I mean, I'm lucky what I'm able to do isn't that physical. It certainly helped hurt me where, get other jobs like with supplementary jobs, I can only do certain things. I can't go out and do manual labor. It's a good excuse to when I'm lazy, but I can't do manual labor. Like when I did work in Cape Cod, it's
Mm,
funny. I a lot of the jobs that were available were like cleaning boats and even just working at a hotel carrying luggage. I can't do. I
mm,
can't do that. So it's always been interesting finding work, and I'm lucky now that I get to do this from home because even just traveling to the city with leg braces, adding a cane, and then now, and I've talked about it, and I'll talk about it as I keep going to concerts. I go in a wheelchair. It's just
mm,
so much easier. I can when I walk around my apartment just almost like parkour, just holding walls. I do have a walker if I need. I'm surprised I haven't killed myself with all the toys for my son everywhere. But I have to look down like everything's a landmine. I have to. But with
can
shows,
imagine.
it's too much to do it now. So when I go to Weird Al, by the time I put this out, I may have gone to Weird Al at Madison Square Garden. First time seeing
Mm.
Weird Al. He's one of my favorites too.
I grew
Um,
up with them in the 90s. Can you believe that? Arab, like some Arab kid in Doha, which is like in the middle of nowhere. And I remember the first thing I heard for Weird Al was remember that record he did, which is like the parody of Michael Jackson, Bad, the Bad
yeah,
album. It was
even
that. There
worse,
was
even worse.
even worse, and there was Eat It, and that was another one. But yeah, so Weird Al is like fucking old school, dude. That's like very 90s.
Yeah,
But I can't
I
believe
know.
is he actually playing Madison Square Garden?
Yeah, dude,
He's
he is.
headlining.
He's headlining. Who's gonna open? Who's Weird Al gonna open for? Weird Al. There are nerds like me everywhere that just love him, and he still
It's
makes
crazy.
music. This might be his final tour. We'll see. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'll talk about that on my socials and maybe the podcast, later on.
That's pretty
But
rad.
it is. But just to man, because I do bring up my disability when I wouldn't not going to cram it into a conversation about it's not so easy for me to walk. I'm not going to do that. But when I've had like Rick Allen, obviously a very
Mm.
different disability. Like
My biggest nightmare.
I can only imagine.
I had a year where I was working in the oil and gas industry. I'm so sorry to cut you off, and it's just because you mentioned Rick Allen, and I kept having this overwhelming fear that I'm gonna lose like a limb because I'm a big Def Leppard fan. And I'm like, oh, I'm in oil and gas, and like it's like I'm sure I'm gonna go like on an oil rig and some shit's gonna go wrong. I'm gonna lose an arm, you know, like for a year. It was every day, man. It was very overwhelming. I don't know why. Uh,
That could be very stressful. Now, well, I'm glad you survived that to be able to do this band. But I
yeah.
understand what you talk about with the numbness. And it's
Mm.
funny now. I've noticed as it's gotten hot here everywhere. 90 degrees Fahrenheit here today in New York City. If I don't because there are times I'm just working away. I have other jobs in addition to the podcast and stuff, and I'm bad. I'm like my dad. I will forget to eat, and I'm like,
Mm,
why am I overwhelmed with heat? And I'm getting my hands are numb, my foot's a little numb. Like, what's going on here? I have to take a second, eat, and just drink. And I'm like, what am I do this? Because I used to be able to just work and not eat. I mean, it's like my sane habits. But as I'm getting older and as my disability, because it's demyelinating,
mm,
it does get worse.
progress.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
progress. That's probably the proper way to put it. So I I respect that, and to be able to go out. I don't know how many musicians there are. I know there are musicians and actors and actresses who suffer from MS, but everything you said, what you dealt with to do a Guns N' Roses show and the numbness, and I get headaches too, man. Like that sucks. That sucks. As soon as I get a little headache, look, this is just regular like Tylenol. Like I have to
Yeah.
take it right away because it's not going to go away. It's just not going to,
Yeah.
it's going to get worse. And it's debilitating. And I I can just can I do a conversation like that? Sure. But to play in the sun and just to kill it, I don't know. Maybe you should always get a headache or something if you had that great of a show.
Yeah, I think when the adrenaline kicked in, I was like, you know what, dude? I think I noticed it once between two songs. I think it was between the second and third song. I think I was just like, fuck, my head feels like shit. But you know what? Fuck it now. And then I went back to like my stage cues, like, okay, here, this is where we do this, this is where we do that. It's just it's crazy, man. Like, your determination, I guess, when it kicks in is just like, you're just like, it sort of trumps all of that, and you overcome all of that. Like, the minute that that show kicked in and I knew where I was at, I was like, look, man, fuck it, just rip, do your best, make it look good. And I actually recorded Winterburn's first LP. Well, we're doing the second LP now. First LP, I had had an MS relapse or an attack, and it feels like a stroke. Like I lost all the strength in my arm, and I could barely hold my pick while I was making the album. So, like I had to sort of pick up the tracking of the record because I remember going back into the studio and I looked at my producer and I said, I'm fucking struggling to play here, man. Like it's not. I need a couple of weeks. So I went home for a couple of weeks and just practiced playing without with the lost sensation. And so I sort of found a way to sort of adapt to that, and I guess you just have to keep going. My whole life has been like that, like I was almost homeless a year ago, which a lot of people don't know. Like I went through hell, and I said that on stage right before the song that I think prompted Duff to say that I'm a sleazy guitar player because the guitar playing is pretty sleazy. It's very Randy Rhoads influence, and I do a little speech or whatever. I say something right before we kick into that song because that song's all about like fuck it. It's about determination and resilience and all that shit. And I said something like, who would have thought I was almost homeless last year, and here I am opening for Guns N' fucking Roses. So if I know there's a bunch of musicians and people who are dreamers in here, don't give up, like, or some shit like some sounds kind of corny now, but in the moment it sounded killer because like I saw a guy that I'd seen at a Maiden gig in 2007 when I was a young new musician, and he was like, dude, like, and now he's a major promoter, and I'm opening for Guns N' Roses. That's kind of, and he was like right front row, and so it was a trip. And but yeah, and that's it, man. Like you just gotta like push through till you can. That's my sort of. I mean, what happened with Ozzy the other day?
Yeah,
It kind
man.
of made me want to cry. Because I
Dude,
love Ozzy. Ozzy's like my
admit it.
dad.
No, we all cried. Admit it. I said this during my
Had
review.
tears.
I had tears, and I couldn't believe how the lump in my throat was because you weren't expecting to cry watching it. You were expecting to almost maybe feel bad or feel sad. But when he started, talking about before Mama, I'm coming home, and I'm like to my wife because just they're panning to the fans crying and he's crying, and I'm like they're crying, and I can start crying telling her this. I was like, she's like, what? I'm like, everybody's crying, honey. So I had to compose myself because you're right. I thought about because her father, my father-in-law, just passed from Parkinson's.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Thank you. And it's a battle, and it's just like with you and my disability. It's obviously it's there are differences, but there are a lot of similarities, and those things
Mhm.
hit you, man. Especially when you're Ozzy's age. And I don't know about you. I try not to think too much about
Neither do I. Yeah.
what I'm gonna be like when I'm 80, and just enjoying the now, man. Enjoying talking to
Yeah.
you,
Same here,
enjoying opening for Guns N' Roses, and being dude,
dude. Same.
being a handicapped parent was something was very I wasn't sure. I'm still very unsure, about a lot of
I totally
things.
respect that. I know about your son, and actually, because right before this podcast, I said to my wife, I said, I'm recording a podcast with, and I kind of gave her a background, like it's Appetite for Distortion. They're from, this guy Brando. He's in New York. He's in New York. They don't take shit. So I hope Sultan doesn't barge in while Sultan's my son, and
Oh,
he's like a mini me. Doesn't look like me. He's got like crazy. He actually looks exactly like Slash did when Slash was a kid, which is the craziest thing. And his middle name is Saul,
okay,
after
perfect.
Saul Hudson, which my dad was not very happy about because my dad's very Arab, staunch Arab
Oh,
nationalist type.
okay.
He's like, "What? What is this name?" I'm like, "That's his middle name." The king of the Israelites? I'm like, yeah, Saul, but not that Saul, the other Saul. He's like, what other Saul? And I sent him a picture of Slash, and he's like, this fucking junkie. I'm like,
You
I'm
should have
like,
sent him
Dad.
like Saul Goodman or something.
I'm like, Slash is not a junkie. He
Not
was a
anymore.
junkie. He's a super successful man. And no, but I named my son after Slash, and people laugh about it. And I'm like, no, I did because I love the name Saul. It's cool. I thought it would be cool. Sultan and Saul. He has those two names. But yeah, he literally looks exactly Slash. Same hair, frizzy hair. When Slash was a kid, and because my son's mixed race, it's the same complexion and all of that. And I was just worried that he'd run through any minute. And I was
Oh,
like, and then I remembered, I was like, okay, Brando has a son too, and I think our sons are around the same age, and they're both into the music. They're getting a kick out of the rock music thing because I've seen like something you posted, and I was like, yeah, I think he'd be all right. Like he might be cool. He might be all right at that.
no,
But
I would love.
it is something like now when you mentioned your
Mhm.
illness, like I have mad respect for you. Being a parent, doing it, like being a loving parent, and a present parent, because I have a lot of experience with that. Um, uh, Despite all of, the constraints. That's really cool, man.
Thank you. I mean, you just do it, as you were just saying, not to use a phrase from Nike, but you just push forward. There's no option, even from when he was little, just figuring out, okay, I got to live on the floor today because I can't really get
Mhm.
up and down, situation, or I got to put him up on the couch because I can't go up and down, or, using the wheelchair when it's appropriate. And he's on my lap when I travel through London, and he's just like chilling there. And, we're quite a sight, me, because and then him because and then my wife's pushing us both around, so it's a trip. But he's not running around today because they're on vacation, pseudo vacation, right now because my wife's dance teacher, they're having like a competition. And this is
Mhm.
just reminding me though, because you said, is your son like two? Because my son's two. Is he around the same
My
age?
son's no, my son's 6 now.
Oh, okay. So no,
But I know that period, the 2 3 year, well, the transition between 2 to 5. Holy shit.
I,
It was intense, bro.
I'll say this, and speaking of holy shit, because I mean, I told it, I said at the beginning we were going to go along just because you're like opposite sides of the world, but we could not have more in common with a lot of things. I tweeted this. I said, so Harrison Rex, aka Baby Brownstone, now laughs at farts. Okay, like he farts, and he loves making the sounds. He loves saying the word. It wasn't like on purpose. I was just one day around him. He's just like, I'm in the bathroom, and I fart, and he's just like, he goes, poop. I'm like, no, no, fart. And he's like, fart. So ever since then, so it's funny. My wife texts me the first day that they're gone. They're at their hotel resort, whatever. He's going around saying fart to everybody and making noises. I hate you, LOL. I'm like, this is all I ever wanted, So handicapped
See,
or not, my son loves farts, so we all could do it.
now my wife says the same thing. She's like, like I'll get a text. It's literally you. He's literally a you. Like he looks a lot like my wife, but it's the same behavior. I'm left-handed, but I play right-handed, which is weird. Long story, but basically, sorry, long story short is that I just didn't want to struggle as a guitarist looking for lefty instruments, so I just taught myself how to play right-handed. But
Mm.
he's left-handed, but does everything right-handed as well. Like he plays football, soccer, left-footed. So, but we have a lot in common. He loves the same band. When he was a baby, it was the weirdest thing, man. Like he would have meltdowns, and then I'd play "Kisses I Was Made for Loving You," and he would completely go to sleep. It was the trippiest thing, and like everyone was like, "But why that song?" Loved Sabbath, loves Kiss is like huge for him. Van Halen, Guns N' Roses. I'm not allowed to get him into yet, which is funny because I got into Guns N' Roses when I was not so much older than he was in the
What
'90s,
about
which
select
is
songs? Like he can hear, oh, I don't know, even Paradise, a Sweet Child of Mine, you can play for him. No,
Sweet Child, he's allowed to listen to, and he actually likes that song because my wife's played it for him. But he
okay.
can't, yeah. But I mean,
I
I,
understand. Even like the slight things in a young age, I understand. Even I was about to say Paradise City, but even there are certain things in there that you shouldn't, shouldn't.
yeah,
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, my son's not
yeah.
at that age. He's just, I keep saying it, fucking Baby Shark, man. He's just all about, he's in the Baby Shark phase. The first year and a half of his life, it was just Blues Clues on TV. For whatever reason, he
Mm,
gravitates towards that. Now he doesn't like it. Now it's just a lot of YouTube for kids and Baby Shark. He asked for it during my Angry Anderson interview. He just came around the
mm.
corner and he's like, Baby Shark. I'm like, okay. Well, I thankfully my wife was around to grab him, but yeah,
Well,
go
you
ahead,
have a
buddy.
solution, which is Rockabye Baby albums.
Yes.
Those are really good. So that's how I
So
slowly got him into like He knew the melodies to Van Halen songs prior to actually listening to
okay, we
Van
did play
Halen.
him that as a baby, like those
Like a
lullaby
lot of
versions.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, because my
Yeah.
I found my wife was happy that there's a Dave Matthews one, and we had fun guessing the song. Us, so we all had fun to it when he was a baby. But yeah, no, right now he just plays toy drums, which I still have on my desk.
That's pretty rad though. Actually, I should have gotten that for my son as a kid. I didn't. I got him those toy guitars. Eh, it's close enough.
I will get him those too. I have him one of those. It's a long floor piano like they have in Big.
Mhm. Oh, I know those. They're pretty
Yes.
rad. Yeah.
No, my wife's, I mean, we're not, neither of us are musically inclined, but I mean, she used to play piano, but we're both music lovers, live music lovers. So I know you've never said that you've never been to New York, but I hope it happens, man, one of these days, because I want to see you live. But how can I keep up to date with everything,
So
Nas, everything
so
Winterburn?
so we I usually put everything it's all on our Instagram or website. Our website's currently down. It's just because we're prepping for the new campaign that's gonna happen for the new album. So I was like, it's cool. Like it went down, and I was like, you know what, just leave it down for the
Okay.
moment till we get the new dates and all of that stuff up. I'm like, whatever. Like it's not a priority because like right now my thing is I really just want to finish the new singles and the new music and get that out there. But our Instagram, my personal one is where I basically put everything out, you know? So that's Winterburn at Winterburn official or at Nas Mestarihi, which is Mestarihi. I know that was fast.
I'll put
You'll
it in
find it.
the show notes.
I tag myself all over the place, but so but yeah, and America, I mean, the goal for us has always been to tour the states, man, like for me at least, you know. And I really do hope that eventually we will come out to the states. We are just, I think for now, the way it looks is we're most likely going to be doing our region, Europe or England, you know, because those are like it's just a proximity and logistics thing. But
Sure.
eventually, like we almost played in the West Coast a few times. I go out there a lot, but hopefully we will get something happening, because like that's the ultimate goal for I don't know if it's for most bands, but for us at least it is, because I love the States. My son's an American, by the way. He was born in Denver, and we've got family there. I have extended family, and my best friends all live out there. So, it's always been a goal for me to play. Well, I actually I wanted to move out there, but things kind of seem, you know, a bit shaky. I'm not gonna go into that.
Life happens. I get it.
Yeah, so I just like I said to my wife, like, let's give it like another 5 to 10 years, and then when things, unless I get a platinum record and make a shitload of money, I'll move out there tomorrow. But but yeah, no, like, so that's where we do. That's where I put all the updates. We've got a ton of new music, man. So in the time that I took basically took a step back from playing live from end of 2023 till like earlier this year. By the way, this is something that's kind of cool that I forgot to mention, because you asked what it was like playing for Guns N' Roses. So we had taken a break from playing live for several reasons, which I've discussed before. But then, and in that time, I was making music, so I was writing a shitload of music, tracking, demoing. We have something like 17 songs, which we're putting into two different albums, almost like a Use Your Illusion 1 and 2, almost not the same. I'm not gonna release them around the same time. They're gonna come out uh, back to back, but like one this year, the other one next year. And the first show that we had coming back was the Guns N' Roses show, and it was a new band, new lineup, because basically the old guys were gone. I moved to a new country because I had to move. I had to leave my hometown, and that's why I came out. My wife is Saudi. The what I mentioned earlier. I was almost homeless a year ago, and then I decided, like, fuck this. I need to take care of my family. Moved everything out to Saudi Arabia. Had to, like, my life was just like a 180-degree shit
Mhm.
show. And I remember there was talking about trepidation, the amount of anxiety that I felt coming out here. I don't know anyone in the music industry here. I mean, I know them, but I don't really know them. I know them as hi, hello. And I've got to start from scratch. But then these two guys, like, just sort of happen. My bandmate Abdullah is like, I know this guy's an amazing drummer and an insane guitarist. He's actually better than I am on guitar, but he fucking plays circles around me. But I reached out to him. I'm like, hey man, what do you think of us, putting something together? You're in Bahrain, I'm in Khabar, which is about 35 minutes away by car. And I can always just drive over and we can rehearse and whatever. He's like, send me your new material. And then he sends them back with drums track at his studio. And I'm like, and I jokingly say that was sort of his audition. And it was insane. Like, I was like, holy shit, this guy plays the way I like drummers playing. And then that was it, man. And the next thing you know, I sent him a text when that Guns N' Roses show was confirmed. I'm like, hey, guess what? Your first show coming back with Winterburn, with us playing live, is going to be opening for Guns N' Roses. And they're like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, like 10,000 people. Like, good luck. So, and like, that was a trip. Like, when the show was done, so that's why we had that mini tour book, because we said, guys, going on stage right before Guns N' Roses is a very daunting thing. Let's do like a few shows before so we can get our shit together. And
Yeah.
one of the shows, we bombed so bad, dude. We bombed bad.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we bombed. Like, everything that could go wrong went wrong. Now we noticed it, but most of the crowd loved it. Everyone loved it. Like,
Hmm.
the place was on fire. But our manager also noticed that we bombed because he knows the standard of this band, and he came and had a strong word with me. He had some firm words with me. And then we had one unplugged show right before the Guns show at Virgin Megastore. And that was like the final thing. And then, like, 2 days later, we're opening for Guns. So where I'm like, you know what, guys? We fucking bombed and we sucked ass, but we're gonna go to Virgin Megastore, do this unplugged show. We're gonna play like a rock band, electric bass, drums, all of that. I'm the only one who's going to be unplugged. Just play it like you're playing for fucking Guns N' Roses, and let's just see how it goes. And we tore the shit out of that place, man. We crushed it. And I was like, yeah, man, I know we're good. It was just that the nerves got to us. We get to the Guns N' Roses show, and it was just like perfect. The vocal harmonies are tight. The band sounds killer. Our light production, which I didn't even know about because I had planned the light production thing right before the Guns show. Because I was like, we can't open for Guns N' Roses and not have. And that's something, by the way, I had to mention. Watching back to the beginning was kind of disappointing. I love the
Mm,
show. So many amazing moments. I
sure.
just felt like kind of underwhelmed about the stage production from a lot of the bands. I don't know if they were limited or if there was a reason why,
I
or if it
wonder
was
if it's
just,
just to keep things moving and just like
I think
another
so.
element of what could go wrong and just let's focus on the music. That's just
Maybe,
me
yeah.
thinking out
Yeah.
loud. I don't know.
Or maybe it was because it was during the day, so you don't
Yeah.
tend to notice lights as well. But later on after the show, I start getting all these videos from people at the top of the arena, and the lights are just fucking insane. And I'm like, oh my God, that's what everyone was watching? Like, I didn't even know it looked like that. And like, they're even programmed to the thematic concept of the lyrics. Like, there's a song about war, and I wrote in my notes, theme green. During this break, it goes red because it's a very dramatic part of the song. And like this guy actually listened to the records and went by the click tracks, and it was just incredible. So like when we watched that back, we're like, damn man, we fucking crushed. Like so, I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back. This is just reality, man. Like we really did the best that I think a band. I mean, the best, one of the best shows that we've ever done as a band. We put on a killer show, man. Duff fucking dug it. The Guns crew dug it. The arena owners dug it. So that's
I
all
mean,
that matters.
it's a story you can't make up for all the reasons we've been talking about. Uh, just musically, region, personality wise, overcoming uh afflictions. It's just like there's so much gatekeeping assholes. You know, there's there's so many elements to this story, and it's one of this. I think this episode, this conversation, is one of the main reasons why I enjoy doing this podcast. I mean, I'm here in Forest Hills, Queens, talking to somebody who could easily be my friend, but you're in Saudi Arabia, across the globe.
So,
I was just watching. What was it? It wasn't Money in the Bank. It was whatever wrestling, but they call it PLE in Saudi Arabia now.
mm,
Um,
mm.
and just seeing all those fans and just like, okay, I'm never gonna go. Who am I ever gonna talk to in Saudi Arabia? And like a week later, I'm talking to you, and they're all the same. I'm like, I love. There's no difference because like they're just a bunch of rabid wrestling fans, like I am, and
It's
Guns
pretty
N' Roses
much.
fans. So I mean, that we all meet here. Whether you however you feel about Axl Rose's voice, but as long as we support him, we meet here. I'm still having this conversation online. It is
But
okay. I need to say it again. It is okay if you critique. It's okay if you prefer a certain thing, rasp, and I am not in denial or sugarcoating anything because yeah, he's
mm,
63, but you can't compare what he's gone through with Steven Tyler. We don't know the surgeries and everything. He's out there
and I'm
giving it
sure he knows.
he knows he's one of the smartest rockers ever. Makes me angry what makes me angry is when people think it's laziness or something. Like it's been
No,
documented about his training. It's been documented by the guys at Guns N' Roses, by the guys in AC/DC, the current
Ron
so
Anderson.
Ron Anderson. So everything has been documented about how hard he works. And if you don't want to see it, then don't go to see it. If you want to say, hey, this is not my favorite, that's cool. What bothers me is when people just make memes or just like to drop in just like angry or nicknames or just like being a dick. There's a difference between having a constructive criticism as a fan or just letting your opinion known than just being an asshole. Like being that guy trying to gatekeep you from seeing Slash. Like there's just a difference. So
No, I'm
I
always rooting for those guys. I don't care like what anyone says. And I know that right before the when we had announced this, there was a group that had all these musicians and some promoters in our region, and I was in that group. And I don't like fucking WhatsApp groups. I'm not a WhatsApp group person. Like I have a family group they added me to, and I fucking exited that group and I started blocking people for putting me in that group. I'm like, do not send me this shit. I don't do this WhatsApp weird cult. And so they put me in this regional group. And when we had mentioned, or when the announcement came out about us, someone sent a very unflattering picture of Axel and Slash on stage, it was clearly photoshopped.
I know
And
the
I
one you're
start,
talking about.
you
I know
know the
which.
one I'm talking about. He was wearing like a black t-shirt. I think he's got like a flannel wrapped around his waist. It was like a few years ago. It was like 6 years ago or something.
Oh,
And
that's when. Okay.
I don't think it's a real picture. I don't think so because I've never seen Axel look like that. But even if it was a real picture, I was like, that's not what Axel looks like right now. And that's I this picture clearly looks photoshopped because I literally watched a Guns because I tend to keep up with bands I love, even if
Yeah.
it's shit fan footage. And I'm like, I just watched the show for Guns and he does not look like that on stage.
Was it
And
the
I
one
know
with the when he had the Fu Manchu and the
no,
bandana?
no, 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 no. That was when he
Okay,
had
because I
that. That was yeah.
I've seen a couple because that one goes around photoshopped, which is stretched out to make him look bigger. And there's one that
No,
came out recently of like making him look like 3 times the size that he ever
he's got like a
was.
massive belly and his
Yeah.
hair is all messed up and
Yeah,
I was
and
just like,
there are
yeah,
people though that are going to believe that. And
yeah,
it's amazing when I just recently shared the photos of him at the Sabbath show, taking pictures with everybody from fucking Lizzie Hale, the Dave Ellefson, of course, James Hetfield. Like, oh, he's skinny again? Oh, good for him. And the worst is, oh, it must be the Ozempic. Oh, all those comments got to him. I'm like, why? It does.
bro. He's
If you're
got like,
too big, it's not good enough. If you're too skinny, it's not good enough. It's just like
yeah,
the
no,
the record you held up earlier, the Appetite for Destruction. Whatever you say about the dude, about his voice, his physical appearance, is not going to take away what's on that record
his
ever.
legacy. Yeah,
Nothing. And you're just trying
yeah.
to make yourself feel better. That's what bothers me. You can have an opinion, but you're trying to undermine the accomplishments, what this guy has done, and his history, as we fans know, the shit that he went through in his childhood. It's like,
And I can relate to him because of that. You know, when he
exactly.
did all that crazy shit in the 90s and like, people, like these fucking corny casual rock fans, Axel always late. And I'm like, you know what, dude? I know that maybe what he did back then wasn't cool and he had some eccentric behavior, but I kind of can, I get it, man. Like,
I always
because,
felt that way. I always felt that way too. I'm like, man, if someone did something that really upset me and no one's doing anything about it, I've done it. I will throw a
yeah,
punch. I've done it in my life, not in many years because you grow up, but I've absolutely done that. And now I was like,
but the
that's my
childhood,
guy.
yeah. Yeah, but the
Oh,
childhood part, like remember that speech where he was on stage and he's like, "Hey, Axel, little," that
yeah,
speech, or he's like,
yeah.
that speech, and he starts talking about his family and like how he mentioned certain things in the press, and they were not happy about, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
dude, I relate to this guy. And I remember when I was a kid, and the first Guns song I ever heard was "Get in the Ring." It was fucking
Mm.
copied on a cassette tape. So can you imagine as a kid hearing that? I'm like, yo, what on earth is this rant in the middle? And my dad walked in on me listening to that, and he was livid. He was like, "What is this?" But then he was cool, like later on. But when I
Okay.
got Appetite and I went through the inlay cards and I would read the lyrics, I related to that, man, because I grew up a mixed race kid. I had so much fucking racist shit, nationalist, fascist nonsense hurled at me growing up my whole life. I was never good enough for this race. I was never good enough for my other race. Both races hated me, and so like that was the shit that resonated with me, the gun stuff, and I love that. Now I know someone might point at One in a Million and go, but that song. Funnily enough, I hate those lyrics, okay? But that is one of my favorite Guns N' Roses songs, musically speaking. And I'm
Anything that
glad
can happen.
which is fucked up because I hate those lyrics, you know what lines I'm talking about. But anyways,
Sure.
generally speaking, songs like "Don't Damn Me," like "Don't Damn Me When I Speak of Peace of Mind," because silence isn't golden that shit. When I was a kid, I was like, "Fuck yeah, that's me, bro!" Like, "Back off, bitch," shit like that. That was me, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
this is who I am." And then I was a kid when Terminator 2 came out, and
Sure.
that scene with Edward Furlong where his foster parents are assholes, and he gets on his little motocross bike, and they're playing "You Could Be Mine." It was like, fuck, yes.
She's not my mom, Todd.
And I had the same Edward Furlong haircut when I was a kid. So I
We
was like,
all
yeah,
did.
that's me. This kid is me, like, and so I could relate to all of that. Even though I was living in the Arab world, I was in the middle of, this little town. I had the same feelings, man, because there was a lot of angst, there was a lot of pain. That's why when I look at his childhood, I'm like, I understand him to a certain extent. Um, and he was going through regressive therapy at the time, so I can understand he lost his shit. But back to the voice thing, um, I still love Axel, man. And by the way, sure, it's I know that I don't think that he can't sing rough. I think that he's being careful because I heard some shows over the past few weeks after we played with him, and he's hit some fucking crazy like high notes, like, and it's raw, and I'm like, damn, man, that's like 2016 Axel coming back, and I think he's just being careful because he's gonna blow his voice
I think there's a
for a
lot of
fair
it,
show.
and I
Yeah.
feel like he sometimes he does say, "Oh, I was sick," and he might give a reason if you might have a bad show. But I think there's just a lot because you're not the only one. We speculate about 2016 and ruining his or whatever he may have or not done with his voice with AC/DC. But he's aware, and I think he's just being smart with it.
Mm,
Because they're like, "Oh, why can't you do an octave lower?" Maybe he can't do that for the entire. There's got to be a reason. Like
for sure.
as a non-singer, I say that there's got to be a
Mm,
reason why he's doing it. But those who go to shows, that's something else that I say, because I'm not going to. I understand like how I look at life through Guns and Rose colored glasses. That's my line. But I'm not going to be
same.
I'm not going to be blinded. I know it doesn't sound great at times at all, and I want to just say it
Mm,
like that. It doesn't sound great. I don't want to use any other phrase. But he again, I don't know what he. There's a reason. There's a reason why he does it, and I don't want to pile on the negative to it.
mm,
People who go to shows enjoy themselves. I think there's just a difference when you go to a show and you're watching an online clip. So I'm gonna take the opinion of people who are actually attending these Guns N' Roses shows over, an online clip any day of the week. I understand if you
yep.
can't see them and the world is reliant on online clips, but just read reviews. The fact that they're playing still all over the world. If it was a bad show, they wouldn't be doing it.
Mm.
And they're getting awesome opening acts from Public Enemy to Winterburn.
Rival
So
sons. Yeah.
Rival
Yeah. Oh, thank
Sons.
you. Thank you. Yeah, it's an honor to be on that, like, sort of, to be um in the Guns N' Roses openers club.
On the
It's
Appetite for
pretty rad.
Distortion interview club because that's what I would
Yeah,
get.
that too. That
All
too.
the interview.
For
That's
sure.
what I would look at the beginning. But since I'm never gonna get a Guns N' Roses interview, who is open for them? I've done this. I'm like, okay, who's open for them? Let me see who I could get who wouldn't mind talking. So, but I didn't.
Hey, I'll put you in contact with my buddy who opened for them in India, because those
Please
guys
do.
are now, they made it through on America's Got Talent as well, which is pretty cool. And those guys are killer. They're one of my favorite. And remember when I said, other than Velvet, there were a couple of shows I've seen in little clubs where I was like, holy shit. His band was one of them where I was like, and I seen him right after Guns N' Roses reunion, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? Um,
Yeah,
but
please do.
I wanted to mention something, because we're talking about Guns N' Roses shows, and you said that about not dwelling on the negative, and I agree with you on that. Like, I go for the overall experience, aside from these little,
Because
we're
it's not
musicians.
America's Got Talent. That's the thing. If it was America's Got Talent, we'd be talking about something else. This is just a
Exactly.
rock show. We don't need to, everything doesn't need to be under a microscope. Sorry,
And
I
it's
just,
and then the no, you're right. And the overall experience was amazing and fun, and I had a good time. And it seems like everyone that's going is coming back home with nothing but positive things to say. And then I watched, believe it or not, I watched back to the beginning, and I'm a metal fan too. But Guns were obviously one of the major, like acts that I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do. I was fucking blown away. They played two Sabbath songs that, they played "Never Say Die," which Slash, funnily enough, posted on his Instagram a few weeks ago, and
hmm.
I was like, "Oh, cool!" Slash posted "Never Say Die" because that's one of my favorite songs growing up as a kid, which I find to be very. And they played "It's All Right" as well, but that specific song to me has always been so underrated. I love it, right? And then Sabbath Bloody Sabbath was fucking killer, man. Like they crushed the shit out of that song. Um, the
You told me
instrumental.
before what made me, and I just need to insert this here about some of the
No,
issues you would have on stage. That seemed to be what was happening with Axel, is that
I think it was a earpiece thing, right?
ear monitor, and also that he was so excited. Did you hear like just hear him talk and taking all these pictures? That's got to
Yeah,
play into it. That and especially someone like Axl Rose, who's been you say you've been doing it for a long time, and sometimes you just got to do it. Axl's been doing it for longer, play for a lot more people. He could still get excited. It affects you.
bro.
All these
Bro,
things.
you can tell he was out of his element. I'm not talking about on stage. I'm talking about backstage because I've never seen Axl Rose mingle and like take that many pictures and socialize with that many people. Like he seems like a more and it's not a critique of the person. This is like some people are a bit reclusive or shy or
I'm like
whatever, and they've
that.
been through
Despite
shit.
having a podcast, I am like that. I'm telling you, I am
I'm a
a hermit.
same. Same. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you speak confidently. You're good at public speaking." I'm like, "Dude, I'm the shyest fucking guy ever. This is my coping mechanism. I just project this outwardly thing because it's the way for me to sort of overcome my shyness. But I'm a very shy person. I would actually prefer just to be left alone. But I saw those pictures and he's taking pictures with everybody. Everybody. Like literally like guys that I didn't even know Axl Rose knew some of these musicians. I'm like, fuck, he actually knows this person, or is he just being, courteous? So I think, yeah, by the way, I watched that when that thing happened. It was in the heavier section of Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, and I'm like, oh, it sounds like his earpiece is delayed or something's fucked, but it's
Mm,
not him. I think it's his ear monitors are off because he's singing in time, but he's not in time with the band. So something is it's definitely a technical thing. But I honestly I didn't really care, man,
I
because
didn't notice it until
I,
after.
I
I
didn't give a
really
shit,
didn't.
honestly. I honestly didn't give a shit because I was like, holy shit, they're playing Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. Holy shit, they've dropped it down to D because I'm a guitarist, so I noticed how
Mm,
Slash is playing. I'm like, oh, it's heavier. Whoa, what a song choice. Damn, man, Guns N' Roses should really cover this on in the studio. Like I start like you're in this whole I'm in this whole other zone. Like I'm so stoked watching the whole thing
hmm
that I just didn't even really care. But I noticed that stuff later as well because I read a couple of comments where they were like, "Oh, Axel, blah blah blah, whatever," and I was like, "Okay, wait a minute," and I was like, "Yeah, I think his ear monitors are fucked. Like it's not him. That's why I never wear ear monitors on stage. It's because they scare me.
mm.
Even at the gun show, we had 3 sets of ear monitors, and I said." It's not gonna happen, guys. And my bandmates were super like what was the word? They were like they're very cautious about stuff like this, ear monitors and being on time. I'm like, you work with your click, but I'm not wearing an monitor on stage. I'm like, because if that shit, like, I tried them once at a festival that we were headlining and at soundcheck and I was like, nah, man, it just feels so weird. You will notice that Youngblood takes one off and puts one on because he wants
Okay.
to feel the stage noise.
I'm like that with my own headphones. I can't be lost in, it's obviously completely different, but I'm the same way.
Oh, it's the same thing. I mean, even when I track music on our records, certain instruments you can't, you have to wear your headphones, like vocals or whatever. I'll always have one slightly off because I just need to know how I'm singing, or I need to hear what it's like in the room. But yeah, so I saw the Guns thing, but overall, like I said, man, they played Never Say Die, and I was just like, I was so fucking stoked. I was like, I didn't believe it. I was like, yo, Axel knows this song? Like, and then they played Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. I'm like, shit, Axel knows this because I know what he's into, like musically,
Yeah.
I'm into Queen and Elton John and a lot of the older rock bands. And I just never knew they were into Sabbath, like that into Sabbath. Because those are some
Never Say
fucking
Die has been in my head since, it really
oh man.
has. It's
Same.
been, and that's great. Again, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be your favorite performance, but at the overall, I mean, just what a positive, what a great day. And, rock and roll summer camp, I believe, some people are calling it, or a heavy metal summer camp. And
Yeah.
one thing else before just another thought before I told you we were gonna go along because this is just like we're old friends catching up. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Yes.
You,
Totally.
you, s- you see all those comments about Axel. He doesn't. Why doesn't he smile? I mean, so like, but you see those? Like he doesn't smile a lot in
Meaning the
photos,
pictures?
in pictures, right? And I mean, well, there's three letters I want to give you. There are of course a lot of pictures where he's mean mugging. He's just, and there's one of my favorites is I think it was the picture he took with they took with Snoop Dogg, where everyone's smiling except for Axel. I mean, yes, there are a lot of those, but there are
I don't
plenty.
remember
So
that.
that's A. B, there are plenty of pictures of him smiling,
Oh yeah. With
usually with
fans.
fans, women.
Yeah.
Usually, I mean, if you look at videos of him signing autographs, the guy's got a huge smile on his face.
Yeah, he's always really nice to the fans, yeah.
And three, don't we teach like creepy guys not to say to women, "Hey, you'd be prettier if you smiled more." So
Oh yeah.
we're gonna do this to Axl Rose.
The
Hey,
the
Axl,
double standards.
yeah, smile for me. You'd be prettier. I mean, come on, it's just weird. Just weird. He just doesn't smile. I'm like that too, where it has to be a
Man.
genuine smile. Where I would tell back in the days with the throwaway cameras, I would say, don't say cheese. Say something really stupid to make me laugh. Say like penis or something to make me laugh, and that'll make me smile because it's a fake. Otherwise, that's just the way I am. Maybe that's just the way
Yeah.
Axel is. I don't know. I guess another criticism of Axel Rose. He's fat, he's thin, he doesn't smile enough, he doesn't sound like he's in his 20s. Leave the guy alone and let's just enjoy this. As we saw, like, our rock stars are only here. We're here for a finite amount of time. Just
Bro,
touch
like
grass.
I listened to the Alan Niven episode that you did, and the shit that he talked about, like how Axel, all the scrutiny on this man
Mm.
from his 20s, um, all the way till now, it's just unreal, man. I just can't imagine being either him or Slash, you know? I mean, Slash is generally sorry. You don't hear a lot of criticisms. I mean, he's had a different life experience, but the scrutiny and the people and the fans and it's fucking creepy, bro. Like I go on these Instagram accounts. I don't go on them. They pop up on my explore page and it's like they're so weird. It's like obsessive, like creepy stalking of these guys, and like they have pictures, even personal pictures of them. I'm like, how the fuck did they get a hold of that? You know, like some of them are not even on their official accounts or their spouses or
Well,
girlfriends or
yeah, that's
whatever.
that's the fan thing. We're just collecting photos. That's always
Just
happened. I mean, as long as it's
I know,
not somebody in the shower, I'm like, oh, okay. But there, if there's like a photo of
but then like
Slash's
his
wedding or
eyes, his lips, his
oh,
smile. And I'm like, dude, I can't. I mean, I love these guys, but I can't imagine. Even if I was there are a lot of female celebrity crushes of mine, and I'm like, yeah, I can't imagine being like that. You know, like oh, her lips, you know, her nips.
yeah,
Sorry.
some people. I mean, that's fandom. The ones I always find funny of just marriage proposals, like on my posts. I'm just like, oh, why isn't he axle my wife? I'm like, I don't know. Why are you putting this in my thing? I don't know, but whatever. As long as it's harmless, because there are
If it's
real
harmless, yeah,
stalkers out there.
yeah, 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 for sure.
Whatever your kink is, whatever you got to do, that's fine. Uh,
Yeah,
Nas, I mean, this was a pleasure. Obviously, we were able to talk right from the get go. Uh, Extra long episode, worthy of it because your story was worth hearing, and just the cool Guns N' Roses conversation. So you're not just somebody who opened for them; you're somebody who is a fan. So I enjoyed this conversation from all
to hear,
aspects,
man.
and the serious stuff too. Gives us an opportunity to show because we're certainly not the only ones suffering from disabilities, MS. I wish I had a cool one. I have to say demyelinating peripheral neuropathy each time. That's not sexy, you know?
But like yeah, it's intense. Is there like a shortened version of it? But
I don't
listen,
even know.
you're not gonna believe this. Where I live, people didn't even know what my illness was for a long time. I knew what MS was because of Clive Burr. I mean, I knew ALS and MS and all of that because
Mm.
heroes of mine had it. So and I knew when you said what you've got, like I could figure out pretty much what your illness was. I'm like, okay, because we have demyelination of the tendon sheath, so it's sort of
Yeah.
the generation, I guess, of. So I was like, I kind of figured out, but I appreciate it, man. Like the feeling is mutual. Um, I appreciate all the positive feedback, you having me on, and massive respect to you doing all of this stuff, being a dad, killer show, um, despite your condition. And all I can say is keep fighting, brother.
Right on.
As
No,
if
I appreciate.
I guess I
Thank
guess
you.
I'll do the same, man. But
That's
but thanks again for having me, and I'm a big fan of the show, man. So
Thank you. I
now I
appreciate
am, I
that.
guess. I listened to it casually before, but now for sure, because I listen to it deeper now. I was listening to your the review of Back to the Beginning earlier today. I had to
Mhm.
cut it off because I had to run some errands, but I was like, oh shit, I'll get back to this episode later. But I'm
It's a
definitely
long
gonna.
one. I try not to do those, but I mean, here we are in another long episode. Some conversations can't be contained, and this is that
Yeah.
was one. This was one, and I would be remiss. I'll end it here. Just thanks to Greg Renoff, who
Mm.
suggested he's the one. He's like, you should interview Winterburn. The author. Greg's been on the podcast, author of Van Halen Rising, and then
One of my
taking
favorite
over.
books ever, by the way.
He's good books, good person.
Such an
Very,
awesome guy. Yeah.
yeah, it's he's a Jets fan, but I don't hold that against him. I'm a Giants fan, so we're both suffering. I don't know if that means anything to you. It's just
Well, I was a Raiders fan for many years, and
oh,
then I
so
just gave up.
that sounds like a
I just
Raiders
gave up.
fan.
With all my teams fucking suck, bro. Growing up, like I'm a West Ham fan in Premier League football. The only team that I support that's actually good is Internazionale. I mean, like that's Italian football. But my main football club is West Ham United. American football, it's the Raiders, and they suck. They suck ass. Like, and, like it's just been a nightmare. But no, but
Well,
Greg is such a cool guy, and I sent him. I had no idea when you sent me a text. I sent Greg a text back. I was like, "Thank you so much for giving us a shout out and connecting us." Because it was crazy because I years ago I bought his book Eruption, and I love that book. Eddie Van Halen's my hero. My all-time guitar hero is Eddie Van Halen. So great, awesome book, man. And so I was really grateful that he connected us, and I'm grateful that you had me on.
yeah, no, as soon as he told me, I was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's exactly like because I haven't been able to do a lot of fan reviews this year with my
Mm.
son and cramming a lot during this specific week. I try to do even though it's podcast, but I try to make it feel live to tape. And I'm like, this is more than a fan review. I mean, it kind of is because you're a fan talking to a band. And then I didn't know about the MS until we were talking about before the podcast. I didn't know. And so I'm like, yeah, this was right. So this was so thank you, Greg. All the listeners, all my little producers. So you might be too if you can help me schedule that band from India. So
Oh, I
uh,
will. I'll
e-
definitely do that.
even though I'm solo, I couldn't do this without all my peeps are around me wherever they are in the world. So that does it for this episode of Appetite for Distortion. When we see the next one, in the words of Axl Rose concerning Chinese democracy, I don't know if as soon as the word, but you'll see it.
Thanks to the lame ass security, I'm going home.